Hey guys, it's Corey from Cruises Reviews. Thanks for joining me today. As you can see, we're outside today because today I'm going to be reviewing the Motivo Fairway golf mat. Let's go. So you've bitten the bullet and you have decided to go ahead and get you a golf mat and a hitting net so you can practice golf at home instead of having to go to the range to do that. So this review is really designed for the golf mat. I will actually post another review of the hitting net that I use in the next week or so. But today we're going to be talking about the golf mat. Now the golf mat, I've just gotten it in this past week. It's called the Motivo Fairway 1 golf mat. I'll put a link in the description below. And what we want to find out is how durable is this? Does it feel good when you're hitting on it, or is it gonna give you wrist and elbow issues later on down the road? And just my general thoughts, would I recommend it? So I'm gonna hit a couple balls and then I will give you a couple of my just initial thoughts and feedback on it. And of course, I'll tell you how much it costs and all that kind of good stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so initial thoughts, feels good. I like it. I am hitting a 9-iron right now. And as you can see from the 9-iron, there is no real residue from the golf mat. So that tells me a couple things. First of all, it's a pretty high quality mat, and it should be. It's not a super cheap mat. Second thing is it feels good when I hit down on it. So with a 9-iron, you're going to take a bit of a divot on the golf course. So it's important that you're practicing the same way. This feels good. It's nice and soft. It's not too springy, but it's good. I like it so far. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit a couple other shots with some other clubs, see if maybe go to like a sand wedge. Is that gonna create any residue? And I'll hit some longer irons as well. Okay, so this is my sand wedge, 58 degree, right? It's almost really a lob wedge. And as you can see here, still no green residue. This is normal wear and tear from hitting on the range and playing out on the course, but no green residue, which is really, really exciting. Generally speaking, if you're gonna see it, you're gonna see it on one of these because it's having the most interaction with the turf. So next up, I'm going to hit a couple long irons just to make sure, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so this is my 5-iron. We can see a itsy bitsy bit of residue, which is, if I was gonna expect it, I'd probably expect it either from the long irons because you're swinging them a lot faster, or from the wedges because of the interaction with the turf. So there is a little bit here, but let me tell you, compared to my other little hitting mat over here, this guy, which came with the golf net, that thing, it's like constantly marking up my clubs, a significant amount. Like my whole club would be green right now if I was hitting the same amount. If I go to the driving range and we have to hit on the mats, same thing, tons of residue, and those are commercial grade. So generally speaking, out of 5 stars, I would give this like a 4.5 out of 5. And just in terms of like overall performance, feel, swinging pretty hard. I'm intentionally taking a divot pretty hard too, just to make sure it feels good. And yeah, I really like it. It's been good. So just a couple of other general thoughts. The first thing that I wanted to highlight is that it doesn't take normal golf tees, right? So if I come over here and I try to add a golf tee, it's not thick enough, right? It really doesn't accept a normal golf tee. So what it does have is it has 2 holes on both sides, or 1 hole on each side. So if you're right-handed or left-handed, or if you just wanna like reduce the wear, so you wanna rotate it around, it does have holes where you can put in a rubber tee, as you see I have down there. You can pick up a rubber tee on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description below. They're like $5 or $10 for a whole bag. They last forever, and they have a varying heights. So it's not really a big issue. As a matter of fact, I don't really like if the mat accepts a tee, because that means it's gonna be super spongy to stand on, which I don't really care for. So that's my first thought. My second just general thought is that I feel like you really need a good size one. So these come down in like 3x4 size. I think that's the smallest they come in. This is a 5x5. Now, if you're curious, I'm 6'3", so I'm a pretty big guy, especially when it comes to driver. You're going to want to have a full-size mat. So I would say if you're over 6 feet tall, the minimum you're gonna want is a 4x5 mat. It's a little bit cheaper, but if the budget isn't too tight, I'd go ahead and get the 5x5. It's just gonna wear more evenly because I can always rotate it 90 degrees. So that's a nice feature, and you can't really do that with a 4x5. So I recommend go ahead and get the full big square because it's gonna give you plenty of room. I'll hit 1 or 2 driver shots here just to show you what it looks like, how much room I have just with a driver. So a couple other thoughts, just very quickly, just like FAQs, things that you might be wondering. How heavy is it? It's about 20, 25 pounds. It's not super thick, but there's this foam at the bottom and it really absorbs well. So I'm a big fan, generally speaking, of it. This is made in the USA. They do free 2-day shipping, which I thought was nice. So it got to me very quickly once I made the purchase. And they just been blowing up my Facebook ads. And so I was like, should I give it a shot? There weren't very many reviews online, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this, because I want people to know, hey, this actually is a good quality mat. And so far, so good. Now, as far as how much it costs, this mat, this is the big one, and it's the Fairway 1, right? So they have one that does accept the tee. They also have some with rough on the ends. I didn't want those just because they don't have the holes for the tees, and that's really important to me. I like to practice driver a lot, and so the ones with the Fairway rough don't accept a tee, and they don't have holes, so you got to find a different solution, which you can do. It's just a little more work, but the 5x5 was $300, so you're kind of in that mid-range, right? There are some that are up to $1,000. Those are really expensive. They're mostly for indoors, and then like the gold standard of outdoor hitting mats is the Country Club Elite. It's like $500 for a 5x5, so it's a little bit more expensive. I wanted to kind of get something in the middle. You can definitely get some that are like $100, $150, $200, but what I've noticed is that the cheaper you go, you start to get that residue and they start to wear out a lot faster. So I wanted something that was in the moderate price range, and overall, super, super happy. So if you're in the market, this is a good investment. It's gonna last for a long time. The 1 or 2 reviews I have seen, people leave them out in the sun and they still last a long time. I'm not gonna do that. As you see, I'm in a carport, so it's kind of out of the elements a little bit. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please hit like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks again.